Have you ever wondered why, even when you have everything planned, life still feels unpredictable, and your heart remains restless? Tonight, let's fall asleep to ancient Buddhist wisdom that teaches us how to find peace in the unknown. For so long, you've been told to trust only what you can see, touch, and hold in your hands. You were taught that the universe is nothing more than random chaos, that life has no deeper meaning, and that if you're not constantly fighting, chasing, and clinging on tightly, everything around you will collapse. But if that were really true, why, then, does holding on so tightly leave you feeling so empty, so lost? Why does your desperate attempt to control everything only stir up more anxiety, more fear, and more doubt within you? Why do you still find yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if everything is truly going to be okay? The truth is, trust isn't about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It isn't blind, it's a quiet, steady knowing, a wisdom deep within you that recognizes life moves in a rhythm, that even chaos has its own kind of order. The universe isn't out to get you. It isn't your enemy. In fact, it has always been your teacher. And Buddhism, in its timeless, compassionate wisdom, holds the map, not to naive faith, but to a peace so steady, so unshakable, it stays with you even when nothing in your world seems to make sense. It's a kind of trust that allows you to loosen your grip on everything you thought you needed to control. And in doing so, you realize you don't fall apart. You actually fall into place. Tonight, as you listen to these ancient teachings, whispered across centuries by those who walked this path before you, something inside you will begin to soften. The tightness in your chest will slowly ease. The endless noise in your mind, those spiraling thoughts, will grow quieter, and in that gentle silence, something deeper will stir awake within you, a calm, a knowing, a trust not in the ever-changing world of appearances, but in the steady truth that's been beneath it all along. This isn't just another bedtime story. It isn't a handful of comforting words to help you drift to sleep. It's a journey back to the part of you that has always been safe, that has always been strong, and that has always known the way home. Are you ready to remember? Let's begin. You've felt it before, haven't you? That heavy weight pressing on your chest when things don't turn out the way you hoped. That knot in your stomach when you try so hard to control outcomes that stubbornly refuse to obey your plans. The world around us constantly teaches us to fight harder, push stronger, force results into our hands. But ask yourself, where has that gotten you? Tired? Frustrated? Worn thin? And yet, there's a quieter part of you, maybe barely a whisper, that knows there must be another way. A softer, wiser way to move through this life. This next part isn't about giving up. It isn't about becoming passive, helpless, or indifferent. It's about discovering a strength so rooted, so deep and steady, it no longer needs to control everything in order to feel safe. That strength is called surrender. And no, not the kind of surrender you might be imagining. Not the kind that feels like defeat, like raising a white flag to life's hardships. No, this is a different kind of surrender. The kind that Buddhism has quietly taught for thousands of years. A surrender that doesn't strip you of power, but sets you free. A surrender that doesn't make you weak, it makes you unshakable. Because in Buddhism, surrender isn't the end of effort. It's the beginning of peace. It's the choice to loosen your tight grip on how you think life should unfold, and return instead to what is, to the life already here, in front of you, alive in this breath. Many people misunderstand surrender. They think it means letting life trample over them, being a passive victim to fate. But that's not surrender, that's resignation. And those two could not be more different. Resignation is heavy. It feels hopeless. It's what happens when you stop trying because you believe nothing will ever change. You shrink, you disconnect, you disappear into numbness. But surrender, true, conscious surrender, is light. It's alive. It's full of awareness. Surrender looks clearly at the pain, the uncertainty, the fear, and still chooses to let go of control. Not because it gave up, but because it trusts in something deeper than the surface of passing events. At the heart of this path is mindfulness. Not just noticing your thoughts like clouds in the sky, but learning to rest in them without being swept away. It's like sitting by the side of a river, watching the current flow. You don't jump in to stop the water. You don't thrash against the current or try to swim upstream. You remain steady on the shore, present, aware, still. And when you practice this kind of presence, when you stop needing to bend life into your idea of what it should be, you start to feel a quiet, subtle shift inside you, a sense that even when things feel uncertain, you are not lost. Even when things are painful, you are not broken. This is what happens when you stop resisting and start witnessing. You become anchored in something unshakable, something no storm can sweep away. Let's pause here for now. In our next session together, we'll go even deeper into what this surrender truly means, not as an idea, but as a way of living, and how, through mindfulness, we stop clinging to the illusion of control, and start living in flow with life as it is. We've begun to see how real peace isn't found in clinging or controlling, but in letting go, not from weakness, but from strength. And now, we take one step deeper into what that truly means. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean you stop acting. Buddhism has never taught us to simply sit still and wait for miracles to happen. It teaches us something far more profound, to act without clinging to outcomes. That is where a subtle but extraordinary kind of power lies. The quiet strength of knowing that you can give your whole heart to something, pour your soul into a moment, a word, a gesture, and still be able to release it. You can speak your truth without needing everyone to agree. You can love deeply without demanding it be returned in a specific way. You can work tirelessly towards something without being owned by what happens after. And yet, this might be one of the most difficult truths for the modern mind to accept. We've been trained, almost from birth, to believe that control equals safety, that if we can just hold everything in place, force outcomes into the shape we desire, we'll finally be at peace. But Buddhism gently, compassionately reveals this for what it is, an illusion. Control, though comforting in theory, is fragile. It bends, it breaks under pressure, and it can never offer lasting safety. True safety, the kind that no circumstance can take from you, comes from a different source. It comes from accepting the impermanence of everything and choosing to meet life not with resistance, but with calm awareness, like a tree that sways with the wind rather than snapping beneath it. The Buddha taught that craving is the root of all suffering. And craving doesn't simply mean wanting something. It's that mental tightness, that desperate grasping, that voice inside whispering, "It must be this way or I won't be okay." That's the craving that exhausts us, burns us out, and leaves us restless at night. Surrender, then, is the release of craving, not the release of natural desire. You can still want, still hope, still dream, but the release of the desperate, clinging need for life to unfold exactly as you imagined. You're still allowed to set goals, to envision the future, but the difference is, you no longer tie your peace to whether those outcomes arrive in the way you expect. You stop saying, "I'll be okay if this happens," and start saying, "I will remain steady, present, and grounded no matter what happens." That's real inner power, the kind no one and nothing can take from you. And sometimes, surrender doesn't look like action. Sometimes, it looks like stopping, like resting, like choosing not to chase after what keeps wounding you. Other times, surrender is fierce. It's standing your ground without needing to win. It's walking away from what no longer serves your soul, not because you've given up hope, but because your spirit refuses to bargain for peace any longer. It's important to understand, this is not the same as giving up. It's giving up the struggle while still walking your path. A subtle, vital difference. There's an old story in the Zen tradition of a monk who was robbed. The thief took everything from him except the clothes on his back. And as the thief was about to leave, the monk stopped him and said gently, "Wait, you forgot the gift of the moonlight." The monk had surrendered his attachment to possessions, but not out of weakness, out of freedom, because he had nothing to lose, and therefore, nothing to fear. Now, this doesn't mean you should give away all your belongings or stop caring about your life. It means you stop clinging so tightly. You stop measuring your worth by what you own, or how others see you. You stop fearing change, and you start trusting that even when life takes from you, it often gives back in ways you have yet to understand. Trusting the universe isn't naive. It's not pretending everything is perfect. It's seeing with clarity that you're not separate from the unfolding of life. You are a part of it. You are one wave in the vast ocean, and you don't need to control the ocean. You only need to learn how to ride the wave. You surrender to this moment, not because you're powerless, but because you finally understand you have real power. You surrender because you've seen for yourself that resistance only leads to more pain. You've felt how forcing people, outcomes, and timing only makes the journey heavier. You've begun to see that true control isn't about bending life to your will, it's about learning to work gracefully with what is. This path, of course, is not easy. It requires trust, and trust isn't something you switch on like a light. It's built slowly, through practice, through falling down and getting up again, through letting go 100 times a day, letting go of needing to be right, letting go of how quickly you think healing should happen, letting go of the belief that you're behind, letting go of trying to fix others, letting go of needing to be understood perfectly, letting go of always having to know what comes next. And each time you let go, even in the smallest ways, you create space. Space for grace. Space for stillness. Space for something wiser than your anxious thoughts to gently guide you forward. This doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means the pain won't crush you. Because now, you no longer fight it. You breathe through it. You make room for it. And in that space, something miraculous begins to happen. The sharpness of the pain begins to soften. The fear begins to loosen its grip. And if you listen closely, in that space of calm, the pain will start to speak. And as you rest with these gentle truths tonight, may you feel a little lighter, a little safer, and a little closer to the quiet peace within you. Remember, you are never alone in this journey. The universe has always been guiding you, in ways seen and unseen. If this message brought you even a moment of calm, or reminded you of a wisdom you'd forgotten, please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps us reach more hearts like yours and keeps this sacred space alive. And if you know someone who might need this tonight, feel free to share it with them. A single word of peace can ripple out further than you'll ever realize. Thank you for listening, for being here, and for walking this path with me. I'll see you in the next video.